Okay, so this is it. Welcome, Lake Helen. Welcome, everyone, to Meet the Candidates, our first Meet the Candidates event in a pandemic. That's exciting. So we are obviously, because of the circumstances, come up with an alternative, which is this live stream. So thanks, everyone, for being flexible and being with us as we get to learn more about the Zone 2 primary candidates. We're going to first start with a prayer, and then we're going to have the pledge, and then we'll move into introductions. So if you would please join me for a moment of prayer. It is a right and good and joyful thing, always and everywhere, to give thanks to you, our God. Open our hearts to listen to the call to love. We gather as neighbors, friends, and family, so let us not be strangers or enemies to one another, but show us how to rise up together and exist as your commandment. Love one another as we love ourselves. Please guide the Lake Helen community as we study our individual and collective values to choose who amongst us will lead us. We ask you to bring clarity to the candidates as they speak their ideas and hopes. God, we ask for you to help us understand each other. God, open us to understand your unconditional love, because it is only in that understanding where we will be able to communicate. In the wisdom of your love, may we be respectful, open, kind, generous, just, humble, and above all else, loving. It is a right and good and joyful thing, always and everywhere, to give praise to you, our God, our sweet Lord. Amen. And now, if you'd please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Bart, if you would lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the
to the
flag
flag of the United States of America
and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice for all.
justice for all.
Hello, my name is Robin Peraldo. I'm so happy to be able to moderate this wonderful event for our city with Bart. And some of you know me because my name is Robin Peraldo. I am was the volunteer coordinator for the Lake Helen Christmas tour last year. And I also moderate the Volusia County History page on Facebook. And this is Bart.
Hello, Lake Helen. Hi, Bart Galikowski. I'm the president of the Lake Helen Garden Club, former member of the Lake Helen League for Better Living, and serial Zone 2 commission candidate, as you well know. Happy to be here, Robin. Happy to be hosting this with you. And you too, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you. And so our first candidate to introduce themselves tonight.
Okay. First candidate will be Roxanne Goodman.
Good evening, Lake Helen. My name is Roxanne Reed Goodman, and I am excited to be running for Zone 2 City Commissioner. I've lived in Lake Helen for 14 years and enjoyed the many benefits of being a resident of Lake Helen. Long walks, nature preserve parks, and the many holiday events are some of the things that I've experienced. During the past 14 years, I've started a family, transitioned careers to be able to spend more time with my family, and began my civic involvement as a commissioner with the PLDRC. My experience working with the PLDRC has been very beneficial. I've worked with a group of informative, experienced, and well-versed co-commissioners. This time has prepared me for this year's local election, as well as for the position of city commissioner. We accomplished many goals, including the review and update of the city charter, city planning code, and the official Lake Helen style guide. This knowledge is key to, on day one, being ready to hit the road as a commissioner. During a keynote speech at the 1976 DNC, Congressman Barbara Jordan stated that a government is invigorated when each of us is willing to participate in shaping the future of the nation. In this election year, we must define the common good and begin again to shape a common future. And that's why I'm running for this position. If elected, my priorities for the city are to maintain the small town culture that we all love and cherish here in Lake Helen. whilst also unifying the city towards the shared mission and vision. Secondly, to support the strategic review of infrastructure needs within the city and the ongoing planning for road maintenance and stormwater management. Finally, developing a plan for small incremental business growth. This plan would market towards businesses that enhance the city and our way of life, yet also provide the city with necessary tax support and support the initiative for the city to remain financially sound and resourceful. Why vote for me on August 18? I'm focused on faith, family, and always moving forward. I'm an experienced project manager and strategic planner, an educator, and determined citizen of Lake Helen. I'm passionate about the city in which I live and about ensuring that my children, your children and grandchildren, have a safe place to play and go to school, and that one day they will be proud to tell their children and grandchildren that they grew up in the great city of Lake Helen. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne.
And here is Roger Eckert for his introduction.
Hello, Gemsters. I am Roger Eckert, and I would like your vote to be your next Zone 2 Commissioner. I have been around Lake Helen since the summer of 1977 after meeting my wife, Deborah Wilson. We were married in the Blake Memorial Baptist Church in December of 1977. After being honorably discharged from the United States Navy in 1980, we moved to Deborah's hometown here in Lake Helen, and we raised 4 children, Lucas, Jason, Angela, Trent, right here. I am a life member of the Lake Helen American Legion Post. With my Navy training, I joined the Lake Helen Cassadaga Volunteer Fire Department. I continued with training and became a state certified firefighter in 1982 and a certified EMT in 1983. I found part-time employment in the Deltona Fire District in 1983 and full-time in 1984. I earned an associate's degree in fire science and was trained by FEMA in disaster management. I also received advanced training in multiple skills of the fire service, like structural collapse, high-angle rope rescue, trench rescue, hazardous materials, water rescue, and vehicle extrication. I supervised the Deltona Fire Department Youth Explorer Program for 17 years and assisted with helping a number of participants become firefighters around the country. And I retired in 2017. In current times, Lake Helen seems to be clouded with a number of issues. Citizens voicing road safety and water quality concerns. Infighting in City Hall where its ethical issues or appearance of inappropriacy is dividing the community. There are a number of ways to change the direction the city's going. Controlled development with ecotourism related businesses to bring tourists and income to our town. Upgraded utilities, sidewalks and trails, traffic control devices like speed tables for the safety of our citizens. Ethical issues are a different matter. Public sector ethics addresses the fundamental premise of a public representative's duty as a steward of the taxpayers' hard-earned money. It is the entirety of rules and proper moral conduct corresponding to the ideology of Lake Helen citizens. Ethics provides accountability between the city representatives and the citizens. Ethical leadership embodies traits like honesty, accountability, integrity, empathy, and knowing right from wrong. It is also valid to say that not all laws and regulations are ethical. That is why, as commissioners, we must listen to you and present your wishes for change. And I ask you for your vote as your next city commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roger. The next candidate is Ty Hargrove.
Good evening, Lake Helen. Welcome to my world and your world. My name is J.T. Ty Hargrove. The questions that I get more often than not are, what is my political experience? So I will read to you exactly what I said to the newspaper in Daytona. I survived parochial school, military school, United States Army, and 56 years of working as a book designer, playwright, screenplay doctor, magazine ghostwriter, advertising copywriter, producer, director, off-Broadway loft theater builder and owner, teacher and on-camera coach in New York City and various Florida cities, all of which take quasi-political skill, insight, negotiation, and reasonable compromise with many executives, editors, attorneys, mommies, daddies, and children of all ages. People would like to know, what are my 3 priorities? 1, bring balance and civility to a city commission that seems to be at an unnecessary odds with who, what, why, where, when, and how to lead in a manner which will benefit all of the citizens of Lake Helen, not just their own personal self-aggrandizement. 2, city street and county road and sidewalk maintenance. 3, lake restoration and the disappearing multi-lake water levels. My qualifications are very simple. I live in Lake Helen. I care about preserving the quaintness and of said and the intelligent growth. And last but by no means least, building for the future of not only my children and grandchildren who live here, but those of all present and future residents. They ask me, why do I love Lake Helen? I love the peace, quiet, and less pretentious residents of Lake Helen, aka neighbors who care for each other in a less than selfish way. The growth that I would like to see is very simple. Methodical, intelligent, and peaceful would be a relief. In closing, I want to thank you for your consideration, and as I have been known poet, I will read you something I wrote and then I'll be done. Stacked deck politics, the way of Lake Helen past, will be cast aside. Vote for J.T. Ty Hargrove, who won't become a puppet, who can't play the game of maybe I will and maybe I won't. Let me check the wind for which way it blows today. Does it favor he or she? No, it favors you, the people of Lake Helen, when you vote for we, the people, not just me, the man. Thank you.
Roxanne, Roger, Ty, we really appreciate you being here. Thanks. I want to first tell you about how we're going to conduct this. And each candidate is going to have 3 minutes to answer the question. At 30 seconds towards the end, you'll hear a bell. And the bell will indicate that you have 30 seconds left to finish your question, or your answer, I should say. At 10 seconds, you will be given a verbal reminder that you have 10 seconds left to finish. I do want to express that the views expressed by the moderators and candidates do not reflect the view of the Lake Helen League for Better Living. That all said, let's get the show on the road. My first question is for Roxanne. And everybody will be read the same questions, of course, but Roxanne, you're being asked to go first. Essentially, what are your concerns or passions for Lake Helen? What would you like to change, and what would you want to remain the same?
So my concern, my original concern is that the cities around us, their growth will impact the culture that we have in Lake Helen. I think we've all said it in our introduction. We enjoy the quiet, the gem of Lake Helen. And so we have to be proactive in and planning so that Deltona and DeLand and things that happen in Orange City don't impact, the welfare and the culture in Lake Helen. I think some of the things that we can do is to strategically plan for our own events and our own activities, and so that we don't have to go outside of our city to enjoy certain events and certain activities. And we've done some of that already. One of the other things that is concerning me, and it's been of late within the election, is some of the discourse, some of the negative attitudes and the negative conversations that have been happening. I think that we need to unify. We don't all have to agree, but we have to respect each other and respect each other's diversity of thinking and diversity of understanding. And we have to respect that we're not always going to be on the same page, but we respect each other as individual citizens of Lake Helen.
Here, here. Thank you very much, Roxanne. Ty, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'll read it again. Essentially, what are your concerns or passions for Lake Helen? What would you like to change, and what would you want to remain the same?
I first came to Lake Helen in 1979, which is 41 years ago. I came from New York City. What I would like to see stay the same is very simple. I would like to see the genuineness of the people in Lake Helen stay the same and not be invaded by any outside influences that may or may not have the same vision that we who are on this broadcast tonight have. It's very difficult to see the changes that are going on when 41 years ago it was a quiet, quaint town, and it is still a quaint town, but it has not been as quite quiet as it has been in the last few years. I have been living where I am living across the street from Blake Park for the last 15 years. I have redone a 110-year-old house, and it has made me feel like 150 years old. However, the things that I would like to see change are very simple. Quiet, respectful growth in an intelligent manner, which will help all of us to become better human beings. And that's about all I really had to say on that. I'm not going to talk about roads right now and sewers and this, that, and the other, because those things are things that will come up in the commission meetings. And whether I'm elected as one of your commissioners or not, whether I'm elected or not, they will still come up, and we will all have to address them in one positive way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Well said, Ty. Thank you very much. And Roger, same question to you. I'll read it again. Essentially, what are your concerns and passions for Lake Helen? What would you like to change, and what would you wish to remain the same?
All my concerns about Lake Helen is the direction it appears to be going in, and it appears like it's trying to divide the community in not a good way. And I would like to see the people come back and stand up and bring their city back to the way it was. There's always change is inevitable, and controlling that change is what we are supposed to be doing to approve what our citizens desire to have done. There's growth that can be done, and it can be done in a fashion that is controlled and meets the standards and the attitude that Lake Helen professes. We have become, over the time of the years that I've seen Lake Helen change, Deltona has grown and has actually turned us into a pass-through city. With Pravat Street being paved as a county maintained road, Deltona uses it to get in and out of the north side of their town. This area is concerning to a lot of citizens because of the traffic control and the safety issues that are involved in that. There are ways of controlling that, and I would like to work on those processes. Whether I'm elected or not, I plan on working on those processes to get some of that taken care of. As far as the direction I'd like us to go into more of the ecotourism atmosphere. We have a lot of historical value in Lake Helen that a lot of people have not seen, a lot of people have heard about and would like to see. And I think if we expand on businesses that advance that type atmosphere in Lake Helen, it's going to bring more tourists and more people, which will bring more income to the city and create more jobs for the citizens in the city. Thank you.
Okay, for our next question, we're going to start with Roger. In your review of the city's budget, what, if any, expenditures do you think could be reduced? And what do you see as any new sources of potential revenue or economic value in the city?
In all honesty, I have not finished going through all of the budget that was presented and to see where everything's going to. I like the direction it's going in with the streets. I wish that there was more put into the water utility system. I think that's more of a health issue for our citizens than worrying about streets right now. I know a lot of people want to have their streets paved, and eventually, I guess they're planning on having all the streets in Lake Helen paved. But as far as the budget goes, I think it's all going in the right direction. There's issues that people don't understand with budget processing in the government, and that's what our responsibility is to learn more about it and present those answers to the citizens. And when I get done reviewing more of the budget and can answer this question more properly, I will be willing to answer any questions anybody may post to me on multimedia or while I'm walking around town.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, we're going to go to Roxanne. I'm going to repeat the question. In your review of the city's budget, what, if any, expenditures do you think could be reduced? And what do you see as any new sources of potential revenue or economic value for the city?
So I, like Roger, have not done a full review or a complete review of the budget. I have been to 2 of the meetings and I've listened to some of the concerns. Nothing at this point of my review stands out as excessive or overdone. On that point, I think that some things that we can do to leverage the funds that we have within the budget is to start attracting more small businesses to our city, and then equip the businesses that are currently here with tools that will help them succeed. So if that's additional training or workshop or showcases to show them how to get their business out there so that more people are aware of the work that they are doing, I think that's a good opportunity. And also to create more opportunities for small local businesses to participate in any bidding processes of work that we are going to have within the city. Allowing that money to not only stay in the city, but to support the people that live here, that work here, and that have businesses.
Thank you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
I am going to go to Ty, and I'll repeat the question. In your review of the city's budget, what, if any, expenditures do you think could be reduced? And what do you see as any new sources of potential revenue or economic value for the city?
Well, I, like the other 2 candidates, have not totally reviewed the entire budget. I will say, however, that I believe that there will probably be changes made in the budget as we go along over the next year or so. And at that time, I will be more familiar with it and be able to address it in a more productive way than I may be right now. If I am, in fact, elected as your commissioner, I will look at the bottom line of every expenditure and make sure that it's going to the right place, to the right people, to the right companies, to whomever it should be going to in proper amounts. I am a conservative when it comes to money, and I will continue to be a conservative in that respect. It's your money, and it will be spent in a way that will benefit all of the parties that might be receiving those funds. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty.
All right, Ty, thank you very much. Next question. I love this question. It comes up every candidate's night, but it's so important. The age-old question about responsible and sustainable growth for our lovely town. So I'm going to start with Ty on this one since you were just up. How do you think Lake Helen should define sustainable growth? And can you give 3 examples of positive sustainable growth for Lake Helen?
Sustainable growth should be, it sounds ridiculous, but it should be slow and positive with a great deal of insight as to which direction is the city geographically growing or not growing, or should other cities around Lake Helen be allowed to take in different areas that are not in the city limits at this point. As far as sustainable growth, as Roxanne said before, and I believe Roger touched on, would be more smaller businesses coming into the area, which will allow people who do move here to have immediate access to basic needs and just not go overboard on building subdivisions and whatever else may be in somebody's mind over the next few years. There is inevitable growth. I'm quoting one of the other candidates, and that will continue to be, whether we're here, living here, or on this planet, or whatever the case may be. We have to look at the sustainable growth in a quiet, intelligent, and pleasing fashion to everybody who lives here, regardless of race, color, creed, or politics. Thank you.
Dan, how do you think Lake Helen should define sustainable growth? And can you give 3 examples of positive sustainable growth for Lake Helen?
For me, sustainable growth would be small, incremental, purposeful, strategic, planned, purposeful. We'd have a reason and a rationale for the things that we are doing that would impact our growth. Things that would be sustainable are businesses that are here to stay for a while and for a certain period of time. Something that I would not consider sustainable would be the development of an apartment building where people are going to come and go. They're in and out. They're not here to stay in the city for a specific or a longer period of time. And I think the most important thing is that we are purposeful and strategic and intentional in the growth that we bring to the city.
All right, Roxanne, thank you very much. Were you through? I want to make sure I didn't cut you off. Okay, next question. Actually, same question to Roger. Repeat it. How do you think Lake Helen should define sustainable growth? And can you give 3 examples of positive sustainable growth for Lake Helen?
So like everybody else is saying, sustainable growth is controlled, incremental. It doesn't necessarily have to be small. I have had an opportunity in my travels to visit some towns that either switched from being logging towns or mining towns and became tourist attractions. One of them, if anybody's been there, is Helen, Georgia. They turned their town into an alpine type theme. Ours is a historical, Elizabethan style development and stuff, and we can expand on that. Lake Helen does not have a campground. That would be a great thing to help expand the not saying it right, but the horse center up in equestrian center.
Equestrian,
yeah. That is in competition.
A lot of pressure. It's cool.
That is in competition with the arena at the fairgrounds. But if we expand the capability of people being able to come to visit the town more, that can expand further and becoming similar to some of the other towns in Florida. Some of the examples that can go on with ecotourism is, and what people look for nowadays, a highline zip line type entertainment center. I know some of the people talked about wanting a skateboard arena or something like that. And that comes in with a lot of liability and insurance requirements with the city. And that's something the city would have to really take a serious look at. But we have the capability, we've got the places to be able to do these things. Other businesses would also be coming in to be able to enhance those other activities. With the trail, if they improve the trail system, you'd get the bicycles and the hikers. So you get the shoe stores, the bicycle shop, you get the skateboard shops and all those in there to help take care of those other activities that would be developed in Lake Helen.
Gotcha. All right. Well, Roger, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Off to you, Robin.
And we are going to start with Roger this time. And this is kind of a follow-up question. It's somewhat related. What is your opinion about the Lake Helen's current direction for growth, and what kind of shape are we
in? It kind of reminds me of what Deltona did when they were developed in a residential community. They were restricting a lot of businesses from coming into Deltona, and that the businesses ended up going to Orange City. And that's why Orange City has such a large commercial structure base to it. Lake Helen over the years has turned down a number of businesses from moving into them. And a lot of them were large box stores, which I don't think Lake Helen needs. But they could have toned it down a little bit and gotten some of the smaller ones in. Harley Chrysler, who's putting in the auto mall across the interstate, he's running into some problems with his development. He's still trying to push it through, but he's running into some problems that he's got to get through. From what I see, Lake Helen's right now, most of their growth is in residential, and they need to find some way of getting out and going to some of the different events and activities and attracting more of the commercial and entrepreneurial businesses and mom and pop stores into Lake Helen to help improve its standing and help improve its ability for expansion. I think I covered everything that was in the question.
Thank you, Roger. We're going to go to Ty. And I'm going to repeat the question. What is your opinion about Lake Helen's current direction for growth, and what kind of shape are we in?
The current direction of growth seems to be stifled by certain things that may or may not be going on in the county, in the city, and within the residents who want growth or don't want growth or want to stay the same or don't want to stay the same or whatever the case may be. I think it's going to come down to, again, going back several statements, the intelligence of the growth and where the growth will be. I think that the biggest problem that I see is the areas that either want to grow or don't want to grow within the city and around the city limits, that either want to come into the city or don't want to come into the city. It's a catch-22 for everybody concerned. I don't know that I necessarily agree with the word controlled growth. I think intelligent growth, intelligent direction is where it should really be going. I think that people sort of shy away from the word control these days. And that's all I have to say on that point.
Thank you, Ty. Okay, we're going to go to Roxanne. I'll repeat the question. What is your opinion about Lake Helen's current direction for growth, and what kind of shape are we in?
I think we need to be open to different ideas and different options of businesses. What was not right for us 10, 15 years ago may fit today. And we have the opportunity to determine that, to determine if, if an organization or a company comes in, they can come in, but they have to look this way, or they have to do this thing, or they can sell these products, not to control it, but to help push it in the direction that we see Lake Helen. I think that we need to start thinking out of the box. I see the opportunity for a citizens group that gets together and starts talking about what does business growth in Lake Helen look like, and what would we like to see. We can survey our citizens, we can get input for the citizens, but this group will come up with some ideas and plan for what business growth in Lake Helen would look like, with the support of the commission and the administration, obviously, and put forth some ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxanne. And we're going to, there you go.
Okay. All right. Great job, everybody, so far. Thank you so much. Next question. This has got to do with economic classes within our borders. And the question reads as such: are you concerned the rapid increase of growth coming into Lake Helen from other areas will cause property values and taxes to increase and potentially price out some of Lake Helen's lower income residents? I'm going to ask Ty to go first.
I think it's a rather simple question and a rather simple answer. It has already priced out many of the people who have lived here for many years. I think that we have really no control over the price of the housing that comes in here. What we do have, and I hate the word control, what we do have control over is how the other areas of the city, lower income, middle income, whatever the case may be, are impacted. And that should be our first concern. What is the impact on those that have been here long enough and bought many, many years ago? For whatever the case may be, I'm pleased with the value that our property, which is 110 years old, has gone up over the period of time that we've lived here and actually redone the house, which is 15 years. But in the house that I'm in, I am aware of this property and have been aware for 41 years. It's been worked on and worked on and worked on and worked on, and the property value has indeed gone up because of the properties that have been built around us. So I appreciate that. But I do not appreciate how many of the newer residents in this city, and you can figure out the years that I'm talking about, have sort of come down on the people that have been living here for many years. And I think that everybody needs to be taken into consideration. And I think the property values are going to be impacted one way or another. And I believe that they should be impacted on the upswing as opposed to the downswing. Thank you.
Gotcha. Thank you very much, Ty. Roxanne, same question. I'll say it again. Are you concerned the rapid increase of growth coming into Lake Helen from other areas will cause property values and taxes to increase and potentially price out some of Lake Helen's lower income residents?
I agree with Ty. I think that in some part it has already happened, but I think that we have the opportunity now to provide residents an opportunity for individuals to move into the city that don't live in a 400 plus home. We need to have different options for people that are in, lower income classes to be able to come and live here and be safe and enjoy the benefits of Lake Helen. That's part of bringing businesses to the city. We're also going to bring jobs to the city, which provides more economic relief to citizens within the city. So we have an opportunity to turn it around or to change the tide if we act now.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. And Roger, you're next. Do you want me to read the question one more time?
Sure.
Okay. Are you concerned the rapid increase of growth coming into Lake Helen from other areas will cause property values and taxes to increase and potentially price out some of Lake Helen's lower income residents?
Well, it's like the other one said, it's already occurring. A lot of it we do not have control over. The only thing we have control over is what taxes we set to be able to accomplish what the citizens want to get done in the town. The property values are set by the county tax appraiser, and every year they seem to be going up because that's the way the county makes its money. This year seems to be worse than most because a lot of the government agencies have lost income over this COVID-19 epidemic. And that's creating a greater hardship on everybody. I have been told, and I have not finished researching it yet, that Lake Helen does not want multifamily housing in Lake Helen. To have sustainable growth that people can afford, they're going to have to allow multifamily housing. And there's areas on Lake Helen where this can be accomplished and not have effect on the other areas of Lake Helen. And I would like to see some of that get done to help those who don't have the ability to afford a multi-$100,000 or greater home into a home that they would be able to afford. But the impact of other cities is going to continually impact us no matter which way we go, just because of their growth and their expansions that have occurred over the years. Thank you.
All right. Great answers, everybody. I'm going to hand off to Robin right now.
Okay, this time we're going to start with Roxanne. Have you familiarized yourself with the downtown master plan? And in keeping with this plan, what types of businesses do you envision in our downtown as well as around I-4?
I have familiarized myself with the plan, especially working with the PLDRC. Some of the businesses I see are mom and pop businesses, a bakery, a coffee shop, things where we can continue with the culture of Lake Helen, come in, get a cup of coffee, leave, have coffee hour, have arts hour. I like the idea of a bed and breakfast or bed and breakfast industry where people can come and also experience Lake Helen, but they're not here for a long period of time. And maybe they're just coming to visit family. They don't know no place to stay, so they have that experience of living in Lake Helen. So mom and pop shops, banks, bookstores, health food stores, natural food stores. I thought of maybe something to do with working out or exercise. So there's a gamut of opportunities. When we're thinking about large entities, I like the idea of an Ace Hardware or a dollar store. So, and I know a lot of people are opposed to those, but I think we have the opportunity for them to come in and they are willing to fit in with the style and the aesthetics, the exterior aesthetics of Lake Helen. So they don't stick out like a sore thumb. And those are things that you need in Lake Helen. So those are some of the things that I've thought of. Thank you.
Well, let's see. Roger, I think would be going next on that question, correct?
Sorry.
That's okay. Robin, you go ahead, take over. Go ahead and.
Okay, I'm sorry, who did we leave off with? Roxanne went first?
Yes. So if we could go to Roger next, I think that Ty is trying to acquire some headphones for us.
Awesome. Roger, are you concerned, or excuse me, let me get back to where I'm supposed to be. Have you familiarized yourself with the downtown master plan? And in keeping with this plan, what types of businesses do you envision in our downtown as well as around I-4?
I have not familiarized myself with the downtown plan. I tried looking it up on the city's website, and there's a lot of information that is not on that website for the citizens to be able to review. I have heard a lot about the downtown areas and what they would like to see in them. And, the mom and pop stores, the stores that enhance the ecotourism industry. I know that there's at least one person that wants to put an art studio in Lake Helen, and I could see a photograph shop and other stores. There's a lot of stores out there that can enhance the aspect of our downtown area. And we just have to get out there when they have their conventions and their expos and try to entice them into coming into Lake Helen. I'm one of those that don't like the big box stores. Even the ones that can appeal their structure to fit into Lake Helen style, their structural components are very hazardous in my belief. I've watched a lot of them get constructed in different areas, and I've had the opportunity to go in there and do fire safety inspections on a lot of them. And their construction is rapid and lightweight, and they're not really what I would consider long-term durable construction. Not like some of our homes that we have in Lake Helen that have been around for 100 and 200 years. But yes, as soon as I can get hold of those documents and review through them, I would like to see them. I would also like to see the park development that they're talking about improving on Pleasant Street. That used to be online and now it's gone. So yes, I would like to see more of this information be out there for the citizens to be able to review and put it on the city's website as a reference point.
I'm gonna just step in here for a quick second and just check in with our candidates. I know Ty, you got a headset, so I want to unmute you and just make sure that your audio is clear. So, Ty, do you mind just testing out your mic real quick?
How is that? Is that better?
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes. Okay. How is that for you? Is that
that's fine for me. I just want to know if it's too loud for you or whatever the case may be.
It does not, and I think the feedback is that it helps, and so thank you, and I appreciate everyone's flexibility as we discover new technology to share ideas when we have new constraints, this is great.
So you know, I had to run run downstairs to my other office, and I think I wet my pants back and forth. So I apologize to everybody.
No stress, no stress at all. See, we're all here together. Right, enjoying this moment. So
I should have worn my granddaughter's
and
diaper, but I couldn't find one.
So I'm just gonna real quick. I'm just gonna unmute everyone and just real quick say thank you. I am attempting to do the bell. Is everyone hearing the bell? I'm gonna do it. Okay, great. I just wanted to check in on the technical side because we have time, and our candidates are awfully considerate of putting their thoughts in concise ways. So I'm going to now mute myself back and hand it back over to the moderator.
Okie dokie. Well, thank you very much, Joy. And looks like everything's clear. I'm hearing reports that people are very legible and they can hear pretty well. I know that there's a few technical issues here and there, but it looks like we're muscling through them really well. So it's looking good. Godspeed on this thing. So let's move forward. Next question. I'm going to start with Roger on this one. Home values have increased roughly 8 to 10% since last year. If the city budget does not require an increase this year, besides the cost of living adjustment, would you be willing to lower the millage rate so that taxpayers won't see a tax increase this year? If you were to raise it, why?
Well, the only reason I would ever raise the taxes would be to accomplish what the citizens want to get done. And with everything that needs to be done to improve Lake Helen's utilities, streets, roads, sidewalks, trails, besides the funds that are available from other organizations, what the city has a responsibility for a certain percentage of that amount. But anytime you have tax increase, your millage rate will either stay the same, it can drop a little bit, or it'll increase based on what the citizens want to have the city do for the following year. And that's one of the things we're running into this year is the citizens want things done, but it's going to take the tax rate, the millage rate, to be able to accomplish those. And a lot of the tax increases only covers the increased costs of the materials, because as the taxes go up, so does the cost of materials that the city needs to get to accomplish what needs to be done. So there's a lot of expenses involved in that. And I understand everybody's concerns about tax increases, and everybody tries to keep, I know they try to keep it as low as they can, but as long as the citizens want improvements in their town, they're going to have a slight increase, what appears, once in a while. Thank you.
Okay, same questions going to Roxanne. I'm going to read it one more time. Home values have increased roughly 8 to 10% since last year. If the city budget does not require an increase this year besides cost of living adjustment, would you be willing to lower the millage rate so that taxpayers won't see a tax increase this year? And if you were to raise it, why?
Oh gosh, I absolutely echo what Roger said. I wouldn't support an increase if we didn't need it. But there are things that we want to do and we need in the city. We mentioned roads, utility, the infrastructure, the trails. If we're going to improve those things or enhance those things, it takes money. And so in order to do that, we may need to increase. So I think it will take some time to invest some time in really going through the budget for me personally and having a better understanding how things are being allotted. But I would only support it if it was specifically designated to supporting the needs and desires of our citizens.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Ty, same question. And Ty, just so you know I cut you off on the last one, and I apologize. So this is going to be twofold. I'm going to have you answer the current question, and then we're just going to rewind a little bit, and I'm going to have you answer the last question, okay? But as for this question, yes, you do, sir. I apologize, but those are the rules. So here we go. Home values. Well, do I have to repeat the question? Are you familiar with it, or would you like me to repeat it?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Home values have increased roughly 8 to 10% since last year. The city budget does not require an increase this year besides the cost of living. If the city budget does not require an increase this year besides the cost of living adjustment, would you be willing to lower the millage rate so that taxpayers won't see a tax increase this year? And if you were to raise it, why?
I think extemporaneously, I would probably keep things the way they are right now because of what the entire world is going through. I don't think there should be any major changes up or down until we find out how this unfortunate COVID situation is going to be affecting everybody, not just people who may have money saved up or this, that, and the other. I just think that things should be frozen now for at least this tax year. And if we can, those of you who have volunteered as much time as you have over the last 10 and 15 years, I absolutely appreciate you. And I apologize for not having been there to work with you. I can tell you this right now. I think that the volunteer program in this town is absolutely the best that I have ever experienced. And some of these things that the tax monies may go for could be done as a group in a non-profit situation where if the individuals involved in them could conceivably get a tax break for becoming involved, I think that that would help everybody. But right now, I don't think that the taxes should be increased. I think that we should do a wait and see and weigh in the future.
If you don't mind, we're going to rewind again, like I said, to the last question. And that is, have you familiarized yourself with the downtown master plan? And in keeping with this plan, what types of businesses do you envision in our downtown as well as around I-4?
Okay. I was involved many years ago. People asked me to run for some kind of political office in this town. And one of the reasons I did not is I happened to own a property which is right downtown. And I had the entire front block right on Lakeview Drive across the street from Blake Park. One of the reasons I didn't run is I didn't want anybody to think that if in fact I had gotten elected, that I would be using that position to put a new structure on either of the properties. Several years ago, and this is a matter of fact, and I have the letters that I can show, I was offered over $350,000 for both of my properties facing Lakeview Park from Dollar General. I turned them down. Then they came back with a larger offer, and I still turned them down. The last thing I wanted to see across from Blake Park was them tearing down my 110-year-old house and the 100-year-old house next to me and putting in a Dollar General. I think that whatever businesses come into town should be in such a way as I would have done had I built anything, would make it look like my 110-year-old house on the exterior. I do believe that the plan for the city is quite good, but I do think it has to be intelligently implemented. And that's basically all I have to say on that.
Gotcha. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to hand it off to you, Robin.
We are up to our last question under city revenue and growth. And I want to thank all the candidates. You guys are doing a wonderful job. These are not easy questions to answer on the fly. And I think this is one of my favorite questions and kind of ironic at the moment, because we're going to start with Roxanne. What or would you like to see a Dollar General within the city of Lake Helen, and why or why not?
Given that that was already mentioned in one of my responses, I'm very much open to the idea. First of all, like I said before, I think that we can have some deciding discussion or some discussions with the Dollar General Corporation as to how that facility would look like. And I know Roger spoke about the quick building or the construction of those types of stores. I still think that we can have an impact on how that is done. And my main reason, two main reasons, is one, it's going to bring tax revenue to the city. And secondly, it's going to provide jobs for individuals within the city. So I'm very much open to the idea. I think we have to plan. I think there's going to be a lot of discussions around bringing that type of building to the city. Yeah, I'm open to it.
Roxanne, we're going to go to Roger. I'm going to repeat. Would you like to see a Dollar General within the Lake Helen city limits, and why or why not?
Well, the last time I was asked this question, I was asked if I'd like to see a Dollar General downtown. And no, I don't want to see a Dollar General downtown. But inside the city limits, there are some areas, even though one is right down the street at Lake Helen, Osteen, and Sixman now. But like I said, I don't like the way that they're constructed. And even though they can build them to meet the atmosphere of Lake Helen, and they can create jobs for the citizens of Lake Helen, I've seen a couple of them get built and abandoned because they did not have the traffic flow necessary to sustain them. And that's one of the avenues that would have to be looked at is, would there be enough traffic flow to the store to be able to sustain it with how many stores are being built in and around outside of Lake Helen. So there's some research that's got to be done on it. And inside downtown Lake Helen, no. The outskirts of Lake Helen, possibly. But got to do some research on it and see if they'd be sustainable to be able to stay and maintain their business. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. Ty, do you need me to repeat it?
I don't.
Okay.
It's very simple. Years ago, as Roger and Roxanne probably remember, there was talk about a Dollar General going in down by there's 4 acres back there, down by the firehouse and in between the bank, right in that area, which I think would be the most logical location for it, because it comes down to anything else business-wise and residential-wise. It's location, location, location. My suggestion would be, and I think the problems are going to come in, and you have the woods of Lake Helen across the street on Main Street down there, and I think there would be a huge brouhaha going on to have something like that built right there. But addressing Roger's point, that would be the most logical location, because it happens to be the most trafficked location right now, coming from downtown Lakeview, and then you take the left-hand turn and go across I-4. So that seems to be the area where most companies would want to build because of the traffic. I think the idea that Roxanne said about having jobs and this, that, and the other, and creating tax base is, yeah, that's obviously what everybody would want. But it's going to come down to location, 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 and which residents are going to have the greatest voice. Unfortunately, money talks and BS walks, and when it comes down to the people who have the money and don't want it near their house, then it's going to be built someplace else near somebody else's property, and then you're going to have this huge battle, and that's the only thing. And it's going to create more chaos than is necessary, but it's going to be location, location, location.
Thank you very much, Ty. All right, we're going to pass it off to Bart, who's going to start our new section, City Issues and Concerns.
All right, Ty, we're just going to keep you on for now, okay? First question to you. Would you prefer to keep the current animal control policy of catch and kill, or would you consider a trap, neuter, release policy and make the necessary changes to our code to allow this program?
Well, I do not believe in catch and kill in any way, shape, or form. What I do believe is that there are several individuals in town that have facilities that, when they are captured, feral cats and dogs and whatever the case may be, that they are taken there and they could be put up for adoption. What I do believe is that some of these people that do have these facilities should be helped out by either on a volunteer basis or a donation basis, because they're going into their own pockets to take care of these animals that are captured. I do not believe in capture and kill. I just do not believe it. I think that there's a better way to do it. And I think that has to be researched, because you're dealing with life, and all life is precious.
If I can, Roger, real quick, the trap, neuter, release policy, slightly different than the one you mentioned, which by the way, I love personally. But the trap, neuter, release policy, does that appeal to you? Oh, wait.
Yes, I also.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I also do not believe in trap and kill. There's too many organizations that give low-cost neutering to feral cats and animals that people can go to. And I think that the citizens that take the money out of their own pockets and do these should be awarded for their efforts. And I think instead of capturing and killing, that the city should have a small amount of budget that would help and pay for some of the costs to when the animal control catches the animal, for them to be able to take them and have the animal neutered. The whole problem with the feral cats is that people let their cats go in town, and it might be somebody from out of town just driving through and dumps their animal out there along the road, and then it becomes part of our population and part of our problem. And if you can capture these and neuter them, then they can't have any more children, so they cannot grow and expand any further. So I would be all for changing our codes to allow catch, neuter, release, and to create a budget line for the city for the ones that they capture to be able to do the same.
Copy that. Thank you very much. Roxanne, do you need me to read the question to you?
No, I'm good. No, I will say that I agree with both Roger and Ty that I do not agree with putting these animals to death. I remember some time ago, I came home and there was a cat on my front porch, and every time we tried to get it away, it would hiss at us to the point that we had to call someone to come get it. But still, even with the fact of how afraid I was of that animal at that time and what it could do to myself or my children, I still wouldn't like to see that animal put down. I think that there are too many institutions or organizations that allow neutering or boarding or readoption of animals to instantly think that getting rid of them is the best option.
Got it. Well, thank you, Roxanne. And I just want to say personally, I'm very inspired by the humane approach from all three candidates here. So thank you all for that. Okay, I'm going to defer to Robin on the next round of questions.
Okay, we're going to start with Roger this time. Have you considered the option of negotiating with the city of DeLand for fire services? Please explain why or why not.
I don't know if the city went to them and attempted that yet or not, but I know they had approached Orange City, and we're too far from Orange City. We don't have any borders adjacent to theirs. But yeah, I'd be willing to negotiate with DeLand to see what they would offer compared to what Volusia County's offering. Anytime you negotiate a contract for fire services, there's always room for improvement and lower costs. And even the current organization realizes that if there's somebody that's going to do a better job at a lower cost, that they're going to lower their costs to be able to maintain their status here. So it creates some competition. It creates some competition between the different entities into providing the service for you. So let's go to negotiations. I'm for it.
Thank you, Roger. All right, we're going to go to Roxanne. Roxanne, have you considered the option of negotiating with the city of DeLand for fire services? Please explain why or why not.
I'm definitely open to the option. I think that it's always a good idea to see what opportunities are out there. Given that the services are equal or better, why not look and see if they can provide the services to us? And it would be an added benefit if it's at a cheaper cost. So definitely, why not look and see what options we have?
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Okay, Ty, do you need me to repeat?
No.
Okay.
I absolutely agree with Roger and Roxanne. And it's that simple. Yes, I'm open to negotiations. Negotiations are good. And I agree with both Roger. Roger has been in the firefighting industry and the negotiations thereof. And I think that he has wonderful insight to it. And if I am elected commissioner and Roger is not, when this question comes up, I will call Roger and say, come on over to Margaritaville. Let's talk about it. I need your input. And I would also call Roxanne, the PLDRC, and have her input. And I think I think that between the three of us, the city would benefit.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. We're going to pass it to Bart.
Okay. Thanks, guys. Next question. I'm going to start with Roxanne. What do you think about having a wireless cell phone tower in our city? Or let me rephrase. What do you think about having more wireless cell phone towers in our city?
Well, I would think we would only look at that if there was a need. And if there is a need, then we need to look at what options that we have. There are all types of implications of wireless towers within neighborhoods, and especially cities as small as ours. So I think it would take a lot of research before we become fully vetted on a decision as large as that, at least from my point of view. Again, anything that's going to enhance our city, make the lived experience of our citizens better, is something that I'm for. Anything that's going to cost or harm or impede our culture and our way of life is something that I do not want for the city of Lake Helen.
Got it. Thank you very much. Roger, what do you feel about cell phone towers in our town? Would you think that we need more of them?
Well, with technology, you think that they come up with better ways for transmitting the waves, the radio waves and stuff for the stuff to work better, but apparently it doesn't work that way. For the 5G systems to work better, they got to have more towers and they got to be closer together. I do not like the appearance of the bulkiness of some of the towers that are built around the outside of Lake Helen, because I know we got one up the fairgrounds, we got one on Howland Boulevard, and we got that small one over by I-4. But on the outskirts of Lake Helen, in an industrial area, like over where they're building the auto mall, or out on either the far northern side or the far southern side of Purvat, I would not have a problem with one going out in those areas, because it's not going to affect the center appearance of the town and keeping the town and the horizon looking the way it looks now. I love the the sunrise and the sunset pictures that a lot of the people post on the Facebook and stuff like that, and you don't see radio towers or nothing in those pictures, and I love that appearance, and I would like to see that stay. But as technology increases, eventually we're going to have to be able to increase the capability of people using their cell phones and communicate with people. But that's the way. We're not in the Star Trek area yet where you can just touch a little button on your chest and talk to somebody across the universe. So we got to deal with what we have to deal with at the time, but not in downtown.
Got it.
Thank you.
All right, Roger. Thank you very much. Ty, same question.
Roger just ended with not in downtown. I think that would be the wrong move. I do think that as technology becomes more technological and easier to use, and hopefully at a lower cost, then there are places within the area where cell phone towers are going to be, and they're going to be a necessity for communications. And it's really that simple. It's really that simple.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, I can, and that was perfect. That was very legible. So, okay, well, I'm going to acquiesce to Robin one more time.
Okay, we're going to start with Ty. Do you support Market in the Park? Do you believe there needs to be changes to the way it's currently being run?
Well, I would be the right person to ask that, since I live directly across the street from Market in the Park, and we are aware of it every Saturday, and we love it, and we hope that it will become even more a part of the city, because I think it brings people into the city from other places when they're visiting the surrounding areas, and they say, oh my God, this is beautiful. I love this. I think I want to move here and buy a house. We live across the street from it. I support it 150%.
Thank you, Ty. Roxanne, do you need me to repeat?
No, I'm good. Oh, yes, I absolutely support it. And the only change that I would suggest is changes for enhancing it, for growing it, for increasing the usage and the foot traffic. What else can we bring in? What a great opportunity. What a great event that occurs weekly in our city, where we can go and get all types of products and meet our neighbors. It's as much about purchasing and buying things as it is about the communication and the fellowship and building relationships. I have visited it several times, and I have never had a negative experience. And yes, absolutely, I support it.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Okay, Roger, would you like me to repeat?
No, I've
Okay.
got it.
Okay.
As a past vendor for the market in the park, I am all for the market. Years ago, when it started with vendors selling farm animals because they had chickens, goats, pigs, and all that they were selling to other people that were looking at expanding their own farms. That has been pushed out, and with the recent changes in it, they're slowly taking away what the people are allowed to sell at the market in the park, and they're using outside agencies as the guiding light to be able to push their agendas forward to remove these from the park. The market in the park is a great fundraiser for the city. They bring in one of the largest amounts of money for enhancing programs in the city. I believe it's estimated somewhere around $10,000 a year is brought in by Market in the Park for the city's coffers, and that's what pays for pays for the majority of the fireworks and events that go on with the 4th of July and stuff. So anything that can be done to reverse the negative impacts that people are putting on the market in the park and to bring it back to a real market, farmers market, flea market style atmosphere, I'm all for it. And I'd be willing to push it if I'm elected as commissioner.
Thank you, Roger. Okay, we're going to go over to Bart.
All right, Roxanne, first question here. Are you interested in helping the low-income families or SSI families receive monthly water bills instead of quarterly water bills?
Oh, wow. I'm interested in it. Again, I hesitate to answer a question like that when I have not done research, but I'm definitely open to looking into that as an option. I would need to know, what's the impact to the budget, how's it done, but definitely open to the option. I think that any municipality needs to look at ways that we can minimize economic inequalities. And if that's one way that we can do that for citizens in the city of Lake Helen, I'm for it. But again, I would need to do more research in order to say, yes, I would want to go with that program.
I'd probably expound on it in that SSI families do receive monthly checks, and it's more difficult for them to receive a quarterly bill, being that it would be obviously a lot higher than if they were to
Makes
receive
sense.
monthly.
Makes
So,
sense.
and I didn't know that was an issue, but apparently, the community has spoken, and here we are
Right.
talking about it. So,
Right.
okay. Well, then, Roger, same question to you. Thank you very much, Roxanne.
Well, I understand the problems they have, but like Roxanne, I would have to look into it further. If you get into sending out monthly bills instead of having a quarterly mail out, you'd end up with a monthly mail out, and that's going to increase some of the costs. So I would have to look at the impact on the differences between the two and what can be done to help those people with monthly income restrictions that need assistance in being able to be less impacted by the building the way it's currently going. But yes, it's going to take some investigation and research, and I'd be willing to look into that also to find out what's going on with it, what can be improved in it.
You got it, Roger. Thank you very much. Ty, same question.
Okay, I hate to be the person who agrees with everybody else. I'd like to come up with my own ideas. One of the things I do believe is what Duke Energy does, where I have the option, or where we can do a yearly situation as to how much it might be on a per monthly basis, and so we know exactly how much money we have to be able to do on the monthly basis, on the electric situation. I think that that might be a way to approach that, where what would be comfortable for them based upon their usage from the past year or the last 3 months or whatever the case may be. But I think it should be an option for that individual to say, yes, I can handle the monthly because I'm saving the money to do it, or I can handle the quarterly because I'm saving, because I'm judicious, I'm frugal with my money, and I can do it. I think it should be up to the individual, who may or may not be impacted by that. But I do think that could be a plan put in to help both sides of that coin. And I absolutely agree with Roxanne and Roger that it would have to be looked into. But I think that's another option, where they would have the choice of a monthly or a quarterly situation.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Ty. Appreciate that. Great answers, everybody. Back to you, Robin.
I'm just going to check in with Joy. Did we want to pause for our intermission, or do we want to keep going?
Yeah, I think we're at 7:22 now. I think the way things are going, we could do one more question and then we'll go to our 15-minute intermission. And for our live viewing audience, we will remain as a live broadcast during that time. And so you'll want to keep an eye for when we come back. But this is so everyone can stretch, free their circulation, refill their cups of water, use the restroom, let your dog out, that sort of thing. And so 15 minutes. So we'll do one question and then the 15-minute intermission.
All right. We're going to start with Ty. This is under a new section called City Employees. Do you think Lake Helen needs to review the number of people employed by the city to keep up with the increased residential growth and additional workload?
Absolutely. If we have increased workloads and need more workers to fill those employees, then we need to look into it, and we need to do something about it. Yeah, of course. I mean, if we're growing, we need more people so that the people who are already working are not so over impacted that they can't do their jobs. So absolutely, yes.
San, we're going to go to you. Would you like me to repeat?
No, you're good.
Okay.
And yes, I do agree that I think that's something that we should do. That's step one of operational management for any organization. You're always revisiting headcount and HR impacts to the work that needs to be performed. We know we're a growing city. We've got houses being built every day. And so obviously that's going to impact the work that our city administration has to do. And so I think that, yeah, that's a real expectation that we should be revisiting headcount on a annually, if not quarterly basis. So yes.
Thank you, Roxanne. And we're going to go to Roger. Would you like me to repeat?
No, I've got it.
Okay.
With growth comes more work. With more work, you need people to be able to do it. Otherwise, you're going to overwork and burn out those that are currently working. I know that there's a couple people that I've talked to that are planning on retiring within the next year or two from the city workforce. Those people will have to be replaced. And I would have to defer to the department heads to have them review their needs, and if they need more employees, to let the commission know. And the commission would be able to look at to see what can be done in the budget to increase the number of employees. There's also the option of doing an outside contractor. One of the guys I talked to goes around, and his job is mainly going and mowing the city's right-of-ways. The city can, and he, from what I understand, he's planning on retiring within the next couple of years, if not sooner. And I could see us going and offering him a contract to do that job and he can do it on his own time rather than the time frame that the city has it set up for. And that way he can do the job when he's available and make sure it gets done when it needs to get done, instead of having to put it off because he's been assigned to another project somewhere else as a city employee. So yes, anytime you have growth, you need more employees to take care of some of the stuff that's going on. And with some of the infrastructure improvements are doing, it's going to create more maintenance that the city's going to be taking on. So yes, they would need more employees, and I'd be willing to look at increasing that amount. And I have to apologize to the citizens. With more employees comes a cost, and that cost is going to increase the taxes to pay for it. So, you got to take a look at also what do the city's citizens want to have done with their city. So,
Thank you, Roger.
All right, so with that, we are going to go to our intermission. Okay, this is Joy. I'm just unmuting myself and letting everyone know that we'll go for about another 4 minutes
Hello,
on this
anybody hear
break,
me?
and then we'll be coming back. So if everyone can kind of wrap up their yoga stretches and bring the dogs back in, and then we'll get back to it here in just a few minutes. Okay, we are getting ready to start back. I'm gonna start our 30-second countdown back into the session. Okay, so hello, welcome everyone back. Can everyone hear me? I'm going to unmute everyone and just make sure that we're all here. Let's see. Ty and Roxanne, I cannot unmute you. Can you guys see if you're able to unmute yourselves or if you have yourselves on mute?
I'm unmuted.
And okay, I hear you, Ty. Can you hear us?
Joy, I can't hear you. If you can hear me, can you shake your head?
I hear you
cannot hear you.
really well, but do you hear me?
Camera and mic.
Can you hear me, Ty?
I still can't hear anybody.
Okay,
I'm gonna
let's
unplug my microphone and everything right here just to see if you guys can hear. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you. Can you hear us? You hear us? Do you hear us, Ty?
I cannot hear anybody.
I think your volume may be off. So hang on one second.
Okay. Can you hear me, Ty?
Okay, so what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna take a break and we're gonna get the audio correct, and then we'll come back.
I'm sorry, I can't hear anybody.
I'm gonna let you know.
Can you hear me now?
So we're gonna go back to intermission and we're gonna fix this. Okay, so we are going to welcome now. We've got Rick. Hey, you're in the stream now. So this is how we do things. We just are going to figure it out. And this is a true strength of flexibility here. So Rick, can you hear anything?
Mark, check and make sure those two things are plugged in properly because we did put up those on the side there. They look good. Okay, let me take this out. We don't need that.
Just play something with sound.
I hear you.
Here.
That's my phone. That doesn't count. That's probably Joy. He's coming. Will test. Rick on his way. Coming. Will test.
I think you have to restart your computer.
We can,
I think you're going to need to reboot.
Okay, let's do that. I'll turn it off.
yeah,
I'm just
let's
gonna
do
turn
that.
it straight off.
You have the link to get back in?
Yeah. I want
Okay, so
That's
Barb?
with Ty's computer, then I take it,
yeah,
not with
so
you.
yeah, I think it has to do because the adding the headset and then coming back in, he's going to try to restart and reset, which
Okay.
you know, the first rule of IT is turn it off and turn it back on again. So
Yeah.
we'll try that. And while he's doing that, though, does anybody know any good jokes?
Oh my goodness.
So
None
this,
that I could tell on this forum. I'll tell you.
so this is the part. Let's see. What do we do here?
Well, this might be a good time to add that if we continue cruising through the time, we do have some spontaneous questions that are coming through a feed, raw, impromptu, just, great questions that we may include into this that we had we did not plan for, but we're going to try to include them if we can do it within our time slot.
Yeah, and so viewers out there, when you're listening and watching, if you're in a situation where you can comment, go ahead and toss these questions down here into the comments, and I'll be able to send them over to the moderators. There were two I saw that came in that I already sent them that previous. I may have missed some of them though, so just feel free to send them in. And Todd Preston, yes, we know you want cake. And so let's just do this. Let's spend some time looking here. Let's see what the
Only if it has ice cream with it.
right.
Oh,
Todd has been making me laugh this whole time.
You know, keto is hard. So let's see here. So we've got let's see what some of these questions are in here. Lots of conversations about cake. Lots of people wanting to hear more discussion about multifamily housing. They enjoyed that conversation. Some thanks for being here. Some jokes about NIMBY, not in my backyard. That's always fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it looks like things are going good. They're not really telling too many good jokes here. The comments are actually well thought through too. Like Helen's
On it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you, these have been some good questions this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, does anybody want to see my Walking Dead collection? Like, comment. Let's see. So we're getting an update from them. So they restarted the community, the computer, and they need the stream leak code. Okay, so I'm sending it to him, and so I'm going to invite and copy to clipboard, and
okay, good. This is just to everyone watching. These video conferencing is not a bulletproof technology, despite the fact you'd think it would be by now. It's just not. And to be quite honest with you, this is going far more smooth than just about any experience I've ever had with it with work. And Joy, I got to tip my hat to you. I'm really impressed by what you're doing. She's making it look easy, folks. This is not easy, collecting all these people on video and making sure everything is going fine. With this slight little technical difficulties we have, it's not bad. This is going really well.
Yeah, and out of all the pre-tests that we ran, we didn't have a single computer failure until now.
Well, I'll tell you,
Well, that's irony.
it's just,
If it can, it will, and so it has.
Mhm.
I know, it's one of those things where it's like you throw the cards up in the air and you hope they land. So we'll see. So I just texted Rick the link for the StreamYard, and so for some
Yeah,
reason,
because I mean, if we had a 6-minute countdown, we could start at the next question with the two candidates here, but I'm reluctant to do that
no, let's
if we
wait.
don't know
Yeah.
who it's going to be. Okay.
I think we can just wait. I would much prefer to do that. I'm going to try a couple things. I'm going to also send it and
It worked best when you sent it in email to me. I don't know if that'll make a difference for him. Like, I couldn't do it until you got an email.
Todd, Fiona, we see your questions. Unfortunately, we cannot do anything about whether The Walking Dead airs again or not.
no. Okay, so first of all, on that topic, that is bothersome because we didn't even get to see how the last season ended. Let me see here. So I'm going to put myself on mute and call Rick and see if I can
Go ahead.
find this.
Dun, 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 dun.
You know, my daughter saw me put on some dress pants for this, and she goes, "Dad, it's video conferencing. You just have to wear the nice shirt." I go, no, because we went through this, and I have to stand for the national anthem, and I'm not going to do that in boxers.
Oh, that's
people.
true.
So,
That's true.
Wow.
yeah,
No, I did
yeah.
it
So I
the
have
first
to.
time.
I'm very. It's all business tonight. It's all business.
I dressed up.
I'm
the
not wearing
first
shoes
time.
though. I'm barefoot. Full disclosure, I am barefoot.
I changed my shirt. I don't have a T-shirt on tonight, but
We were joking earlier in one of the practice sessions that we could not confirm or deny that any of us were wearing pants.
No, you're not.
100%.
I'm actually not, but I'm wearing a dress.
There we go.
I was saying I did the same thing the first
Everyone
time. I
watching,
went
please
to-
just bear with us. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope everybody out there is just bearing with us. Hang in there. Talk amongst yourselves. Fiddle around on your phone. We'll get
Mhm.
this
coming.
muscle
I see
through
him.
in a minute.
Okay.
There he is. We've got action.
Yes, I can hear you on his phone. But
Oh, okay. Let me
hear
hang
you.
up.
Yes.
Can you hear
Yes,
us
and
here?
how is the volume boost?
Hooray.
Yeah. Yay!
Good.
Okay, so you guys, this is really, I think, a true testament to this event. You know, it's one of those things where having this event and having everyone come together and seeing how your neighbors and your friends, you know, how we can all be flexible in these situations and just persevere through. And I really am so thankful for this group of people and you guys wanting so much to share your ideas that, you know, you'd enter into this technology world. So thank you, Todd.
Ty, I don't know if you want to close your door behind you or not, but they left it open.
Well,
Oh,
that's
my
okay.
husband was raised in a barn.
Sherry did make the bed this morning, so it's okay. I'll close it. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Oh,
So-
he's doing it. Okay,
Yeah.
so when Ty gets back, I'll start the next question. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah, I think
We're
Very
ready.
good.
Everybody's refreshed. We've got our Robin, did your puppy get out?
The babysitter is with her now.
Oh,
I had to have a sitter come in for this dog.
Okay, y'all, thank you so much. And so we're back now. I hope everyone enjoyed the jazzy free tunes. They didn't have any copyrights that I had to pay for. It's just so use Microsoft Word. So,
Very good.
great.
Joy, can I,
Yes.
Roxanne, can I say something to, can I speak to Roxanne?
Yeah.
Look how pale I am. I'm so jealous of your tan. I'm going to shoot
Wow.
myself.
It's the lighting. You should know about lighting, Ty.
I know, but I try. Well, I didn't have any the other day, so I put this on, and now I'm like, give me a break.
You
I
look
need some
fine.
pigmentation going on.
You look fine.
So, okay, so I've got to get back into my routine too. So I'm going to go ahead. Robin, is it you or Bart who are
We're-
leading to this? Bart's leading in?
Bart's gonna start the next question, still under city employees.
Great. So I'm going to mute back everybody else and myself as
Oh, I'm back.
Ooh, can everybody hear me okay?
I can, Robin.
Okay. Joy, can you hear me? I'm getting I got Roxanne, but I got nobody else.
And I can see you.
That's because she's got everybody muted except Roxanne.
Oh, gotcha.
You're good.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna start with Roger. Roger, what is your opinion of how well the current city staff is functioning, and what, if any, changes would you suggest?
Well, I know Becky will probably be angry with me for this, but I think she overworks herself. She does a great job. She probably needs another assistant in there to help her get some of the work done, whether it's a part-time assistant or full-time assistant. But I think they're doing an outstanding job with the tasks that they have to do and the amount of work they have to do. I'd be willing to offer them some, another person to help them if they needed it. But they have to put that request in so it can be put in the budget. I'm done.
Do we have Bart
Can I
back?
be?
You have Bart back?
Yeah, I moved to a different area of my house. Apologies about that. Okay, well, I actually don't know where we left off, so
Oh,
I'm going to
we asked
have to again defer to Robin here. What's up?
okay. We're going to go to Ty, and we're asking the same question. What is your opinion of how well the current city staff is functioning, and what, if any, changes would you suggest?
I think they're doing a great job. I have reread the charter, and the job that Becky does is absolutely incredible with all of the responsibilities that she has, and then the extra work that she does on the side. I do agree with Roger relative to perhaps another staff person may be needed, even if it's a part-time situation, to give Becky a break. She does an absolutely incredible job, and regardless of what happens on this upcoming Wednesday meeting, I think that that we should retain her. She is absolutely brilliant at what she does, and that is the end of my story on that.
Thank you very much, Ty. Roxanne, would you like me to repeat it?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I have the opportunity to work closely with Becky at least once a month, being on the TLDRC. She has a wealth of information. She's readily available. She gives very sound and solid advice when it's time for us to make a decision. Um, in my opinion, it's going to be very hard for us to get that anywhere else. She is an absolute excellent asset to the city and her support in Lauren. And I agree with the other two gentlemen. The one thing that we could do for her is to give her additional help, give her assistance. And so I do believe that's something that if she deems necessary or she would like to have, that we look at what avenues or how we can help her get additional help. The city administration is doing a very great job in supporting all of the citizens of Lake Helen. And we're having more people come in every day. And so we're adding additional work onto them. So kudos to the work they're doing. Becky has always been a great wealth of information for me, and so I appreciate her dearly.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Okay, I'm going to pass it to Bart for our new section, City Administration Questions.
I'm going to just, Roger needs to answer that question, that last question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're good. Okay.
I answered it at the first time, but I'll answer it again. Becky's an outstanding employee. She's a great administrator. She's been doing an outstanding job. I believe she overworks herself and takes on more than what she really needs to. But getting her part-time help or another staff member to help her. We also have Rick Mullins out there with Public Works. I mean, he's doing a great job, and if he needs more employees to be able to get his tasks done, the option's there for them to request more assistance, and it can be worked into the budget wherever it can be done at. And Chief Walker does an outstanding job with our law enforcement group. He's getting ready to retire in about a year, and we're going to have to look for another fire chief to replace him. Hopefully he's already working on that with his staff and trying to get that ball started rolling. But yep, all the staff members are doing a great job, and Becky's doing a great job supervising them, and I really applaud her and the workload that she does and everything that's going on.
Thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Roger. There was another question, but honestly, you guys all just answered it, so we're going to move on to this one. I'm going to start with Roxanne here. Okay, Roxanne? There have been thank you very much. Awesome. There have been recorded incidents on the dais and an email of some of our current elected officials being combative or quarrelsome towards city staff and addressing the public outside City Hall about it. Do you believe such clashes need to be directly addressed and rapidly resolved within the confines of City Hall?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They are representing our city. And so if we have things that are disparaging the reputation of our city, they need to be addressed immediately. When we sit up there on the dais, we're representing the city, we're fighting for the city, we're talking for the city. We are the voice of the city at that point in time. So when we're not acting or speaking appropriately, that reflects back on the city of Lake Helen. And as a citizen first of this city, I absolutely object to that type of behavior, and it absolutely does need to be addressed.
Okay, Roxanne, thank you very much. Roger, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
No, I think I understand it.
Okay, thank you.
Like most of the other citizens, I'm completely appalled by the way that it's being brought out into the public court instead of the city handling it. I know that they are restricted by the Sunshine Law and how far they can go with any actions and everything taken. But having meetings like what's going to occur Wednesday is their avenue of addressing these issues without bringing it out to the public. As a commissioner and a mayor or city board member, basically, what we do and say is representative to the outside world of the city. And it doesn't make us look good when we're fighting amongst ourselves over issues that can be resolved with talking and using the resources that are currently available, because everybody has a job description that they've got to go by. Some of them are in the charter, some of them are in the rules and the ordinances. And that's what they have to use to govern what the people are supposed to be doing and what actions can be taken to resolve issues. And they need to use the resources, use them properly, and quit making the city look so bad.
All right, Roger. Thank you very much. And Ty, same question. You need me to repeat it?
No, I'm just checking right now. Some people can't hear me. I'm pushing the microphone closer to my face, and I will speak up a little bit louder if that's necessary. My feeling
It does
relative to
sound
what's
good right
going
now. Yeah.
on the commission. Okay. My feeling as to what's going on relative to the commission and City Hall and the administration is very simple. There are too many outside influences that are upsetting the apple cart, and there are certain commissioners and or other individuals on the Diaz that are allowing that to happen, and I think that has to be addressed. And if it has to be addressed in an open forum, then I'm for that. It needs to stop. It's ridiculous. It's childish. It's sophomoric, and it's absolutely ludicrous.
Okay, Ty, thank you very much. I appreciate that, everybody. That's a sensitive topic. So, listen, I'm going to defer to Robin for our next round of spontaneous questions that have been coming through. These are a bit raw and unscripted. So, Robin, did you get that the first couple questions from Joy?
I did.
Okay.
I did get them. We're going to start off with, would you consider we're going to start off with, who did we start with? Roxanne?
We started with Roxanne on that last one. Correct.
Okay. So we're going to start with Ty. Would you consider hiring a certified grant writer for the city?
Who is able to do the job in this city right now, then obviously yes. Depending upon the cost, the expertise, and the background of the grant writer, then if it's going to help the city's parks, this, that, and the other, theater, yes, absolutely. Depending upon the cost, like everything else, it would have to be looked at in the budget. I'm done.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't cut you off, did I?
No, thank you.
Okay, good. Thank you, Ty. Roxanne, would you like me to repeat?
No, I'm good. And my response is yes. I think that if they can provide opportunities to get funding for us to do some of the things that we want to do, absolutely. Now, with that said, we do have to make sure that we can afford it, or there's some things that we may have to forego. And that's what comes with strategic planning. We may have to step back a moment to allow this grant writer to do what they need to do, hold off on some things, and then afterwards, after we get the grant money, we can pick back up where we left off at. So sometimes it seems like we're stepping back, but we're not. We're stepping back for a reason, so that we can look at the larger picture, the bigger picture, and for the greater good of the city.
Okay, thank you very much, Roxanne. Roger?
Well, grants are a great way for the city to get in extra funds to accomplish extra projects and current projects that they're looking at getting done. Having the proper person in there that knows how to navigate the grant system is one of the great advantages of that. And hiring somebody to be able to write the grant for us the proper way to ensure that our chances of getting the grant are improved. Yes, I'd be for it, but like they said, it's got to look in the budget, see where it can be put in, whether it can be a full-time, part-time, what will have to be delayed to be able to accomplish this, to be able to get a greater good for the community. So it's something that would have to be really seriously looked into. Thank
you, Roger. We're going to go over to Bart, because we had one other question that was put in on at last minute.
I'll see my face soon, I'm sure. There we go. Okay. All right. Here's a question. What are your thoughts about annexation of land in unincorporated county? Now, I'm going to start with Ty on this one. Again, what are your thoughts about annexation of land in unincorporated county?
I'm presuming that that means the land surrounding Lake Helen that is unincorporated at this point. I believe that would be up to the landowner and their neighbors as to whether or not they would want to be incorporated into Lake Helen. Of course, it would help our tax base if they were incorporated into Lake Helen, and I just think it's something that needs to be looked into when and if, not if, but when that comes to before the commission. It's going to happen. It's just how it's done, when it's done, and is it done intelligently enough to benefit not only the landowner from the outside of the city limits, but the basis of Lake Helen proper.
Well, thank you very much. Same question to you, Roxanne. What are your thoughts about annexation of land in unincorporated county?
Assuming that there is a desire for that to happen for those individuals that live in the unincorporated areas, I think that it is a great option, as Ty said, to increase our tax dollars. And there is a very solid process for that to take place, paperwork and steps. And so I'm definitely open to it and would support it if those individuals or groups wish to do so.
Got it. Thank you, Roxanne. And Raj, what about you?
I'm for all four if somebody wants to annex into Lake Helen to allow them to annex. There are some restrictions, and Lake Helen has had their hands slapped for it in the past. When you annex areas that are far outside the boundaries of Lake Helen and you end up annexing the road so that that property can be annexed in, the county frowns upon that and the state frowns upon that. They don't like those actions because they tend to create enclaves of isolated areas that they don't like to see. They like to see all the areas be annexed in around it. So if an area wants to be annexed and it's within the border areas of, just outside the border areas of Lake Helen, and will not create an enclave, yes, I would be all for it. And I would be willing to offer them to work with the residents around them if it is a further distance away to try to fill in that gap so it doesn't create an enclave. And I've heard some people pro and some people against it. And the biggest one against it is that they say Lake Helen's taxes are too high. But with what Lake Helen wants to do, it's what it is. And if they want to annex in, I'm all for it.
Got it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Now we're moving on to individual candidate questions. These are questions that people have posed to individual candidates. So we're going to start with Roxanne. Roxanne, how has your experience on the PLDRC prepared you for the role of commissioner? Roxanne, I'm sorry, you're muted.
My apologies.
Sure.
When I first started on the PLDRC, I came with operational management experience, strategic planning experience, leadership experience. But what I was missing was that understanding and knowledge of city codes and planning, and even the structure of Lake Helen as a city. And so my time there has helped me have a better understanding of how the city is structured. We worked on the charter review and planning the planning code document. And so that time has helped me understand better those processes and the impact to the city's growth and the future, and the ability to use those skills of strategic planning and project management. The two mesh together well in order to help the city plan for what it wants to do in the future.
Thank you, Roxanne. We're going to pass it over to Bart. We have another question for Roxanne.
All right, Roxanne. Diversity is an important national and local issue. Since you are a woman, Black, and full-time working mother, you will have a unique opportunity to represent many underrepresented voices on the dais. How do you view that role or expectation to represent many people who are historically have not been heard?
Oh, wow. I welcome that experience and that opportunity. Let me say first that those three characteristics that you listed are ones that I am very proud of. First of all, being a female. In 2020, I'm Woman Hear Me Roar has never been louder than it has ever been before. Females, young girls, are getting more into technology and into math and into sciences, and they have the support to do so. As an African American woman, I stand upon the history of my descendants who have also stood the test of time and worked towards equality and against brutality. We've seen that in 2020. So I'm very proud of the strides that we have made since coming to this country. So I'm very proud of being an African American. And then also one of my greatest joys in life is the is the day that I became a mother. That is one of the most wonderful things that has ever happened to me. And so I leverage and I take joy in the opportunity to help others celebrate those areas of diversity in their life. And I think you do that first by first seeking to understand what is their plight, what is their struggle, what is the journey that they have been on. Secondly, to listen and to learn, and to join that with understanding so that you can help coach them to overcome any obstacles that they may be having. And third, to open up the barriers of communication among all citizens, among all residents. We have to be able to talk. We have to be able to explain and talk about our history and what has made us who we are. And then together we can make strides to build upon our diversities, our diverse backgrounds, our diverse history. So again, I celebrate the opportunity to work for anyone that's a mother, an African American, or a female that wants to do or plans to do something in their life and may be confronted with obstacles.
Thank you, Roxanne. I really appreciate that. We're going to move on to Roger, and I'm going to allow you to take this question, Robin.
Okay. Roger, how has your work as a firefighter prepared you for the role of commissioner?
Well, one thing with the department that I work with, we became a municipality, and that allowed me to see how a municipality operates and works. I mean, it's not the same structure that Lake Helen has, but it is similar. And it introduced me to the budgeting process and how much the departments compete for the funds to be able to get their projects done, and the labor management side of it. And for a short time, I was the firefighter union president down there and had to negotiate a contract with the fire district at that time. It wasn't a city yet. And learning how to do that in negotiations with a municipal entity like that gave me the opportunity to use those skills in the future. And all the skills that I learned through leadership, ethics, diversity, and the budgeting process and how municipality operates. And in Deltona, we dealt with a city manager instead of a city administrator, but their jobs were similar. And so learning all that stuff actually gave me some insight into what I'd be looking for up here in Lake Helen.
Awesome.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Roger. All right, Roger. I'm going to ask the next question of you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Are you prepared? Okay, I want to make sure I had you. During
Prepared
the July
for what?
commission meeting, this horrendous, terrible question I have. It's not that prodding. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. and again, these were submitted. So during the July commission meeting, you asked about the Personnel Review Board being involved with complaints against city staff from citizens and not just handled internally. What do you think the benefits of that would be?
It eliminates the propriety of inappropriateness. Ethics is based on a lot of legal terminology and what other organizations, the state ethics board and everything, looks at municipality leadership and complaints that they have. And the board would be able to handle the complaints that the citizens would have when they do not feel that their issues were handled well enough by other staff members. I could do an example, and I'll use Chief Walker's department as an example. If somebody has a complaint against one of our law enforcement officers and it's given to Chief Walker, and Chief Walker goes and handles it, and for every benefit that everybody believes, he handled it appropriately and provided the proper discipline that the employee needed. But the citizen who did the complaint feels that it wasn't enough. The board would then take his complaint and do a follow-up on it and review what the police chief did and either agree or make a recommendation to the commission on more action needed to be taken. This eliminates the appearance of impropriety of the eliminating the good old boy club that some places are saying that police departments have. I know Chief Walker doesn't have that problem in Lake Helen because he is very up on all the diversity and actions that need to be taken to justify his actions and what he does with his employees. So for Chief Walker, this was just an example, and it was the easiest one to use and try and do one of the other departments. But when it comes to some of the other staff members, like Becky, hers is different since she's at the top of the chain. Her issues would have to be dealt with by the city commission. And that's where the sunshine law comes in. That's where Wednesday's meeting comes in play, is to be able to handle the issues and get it out of the public court. And it gives the public a better understanding when you have somebody from their own community that's either recommending or saying that, yeah, the discipline was fair enough, or recommending more discipline, and eliminates the ethics and the propriety differences.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Roger. Thank you very much. And we're going to go to you, Robin, for the next question for Ty.
Okay. Hi. How has your professional theater experience and overall past experiences prepared you for being a city commissioner?
Oh,
Since I've
got nothing.
produced and directed actors, which is what
I can hear him.
Nothing? No. Can you hear me? Okay. Since being a writer, producer, director in the hardest city in the world to do so, New York City, I believe that having had to deal with the so-called hierarchy of these different mediums and the cities that I had to deal with to do this, puts me in a position to where I don't, the key when I was teaching acting is actors do not act, they do. I am not an actor, I am a doer. And anybody who knows theater knows that there's a 12-week rehearsal process before you even get on stage, minimum. So I'm not ready to go on stage. I am ready to do what's necessary for Lake Helen with the input of people like Roger and like Roxanne, I am a listener. I stop, look, listen, rewrite. As a matter of fact, I will show anybody the picture of me and King Kong in 1976 that was in Time magazine. If I could knock out King Kong, I think I can take on any of the negative crap that's going on here in Lake Helen.
Thank you, Ty. I'm going to send it over to Bart for your second question.
Ty, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Ty. Ty, what year was that King Kong production?
1976. 1976.
We hear you, Ty. Bart's having a bit of a lag, but we
I was
hear
there
right.
too.
I'm for it. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes, Ty, we hear you
Yeah.
fine. It's on Bart's end. He's having a little bit of a delay. So, Robin, can you go ahead and take this one?
Absolutely. Ty, how have you been active within Lake Helen in getting the pulse of the community passions and concerns?
Well, I'm going to have to go back to the Senate Rackets Investigation Committee and to the Cosa Nostra. I paid my taxes and I've listened to the drum beats on the ground.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are going to move to this our last section, which I am going to head up. Our candidate, Nancy Weary, has publicly passed on this event. It is important for the voters to know where she stands on the publicly submitted candidate questions that we have asked tonight. This forum subjects attending candidates to unexpected inquiries and real-time voter scrutiny and analysis for their answers. However, if she is to answer them online or in person, Nancy will not be subject to the crucially unscripted debate platform provided here tonight. As well, and to be fair to all candidates in this noble event, here are the questions submitted for our fourth candidate, Nancy Weary. I'm just going to read them. Number 1, how has your 2 years of residency and community efforts qualified you for commissioner? 2, you have expressed in public record to be displeased with our city administrator's performance and the need for her termination. How would you plan to allocate the city's budget to pay up to $60,000 more to find a new administrator? And what would be your plan to make that position successful? 3, comments on your Facebook page have been deleted while transparency was referenced in your campaign. Can you explain this? 4, there are a handful of public correspondences outlining accusations of felonious behavior, implied inappropriate meetings, faulty allegations, or criminal records, etc., that you have personally made against some commissioners, city staff, and citywide volunteer board members. If elected, how do you plan to govern in lieu of the current climate this has created? And that is all we have.
Back, and I'm just going to make sure everybody's unmuted here. And y'all from the league, we just want to sincerely express our gratitude. These are really difficult times with the pandemic, and it's having to move into a platform like this is not easy for anyone. It's not easy. It wasn't easy for the candidates. It was not easy for the moderators. It was not easy for me. And I just want to applaud you all for your willingness to participate, be flexible, illustrate your flexibility, and still be able to communicate with Lake Helen and be here, and so thank you for doing that. I know that it's so much easier to just go to Hopkins Hall. It really is. I hope next year we can do that. This is not my favorite way to do this, but I thank you for giving it a chance, for helping to keep your neighbors safe and yourself safe. And I really cannot express how much that means to me, that you were willing to try this. And with that, if anybody would like to go ahead and just let the candidates close out, they each get 3 minutes to wrap up what they want to say, and then we'll
Do we want to start with Roger?
Sure.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank Joy for putting on this. And I know the League of Better Living has done it twice a year. You get one for the primary, and then I guess you're going to have another one in October for the big election. So I thank them for willing to step up and put this on. I like to thank the moderators for being there, I know you guys have went through a lot of work getting through them questions and everything, because a lot of questions were submitted from what I've heard out there and talking with people in the park and stuff. And I really got to hand it to you guys for going through all those and coming up with the list that you came up with. And Ty, thank you for your lighting input. Your knowledge on stage settings and everything helped me improve the lighting so that it worked better in my house. And Roxanne, good luck and best wishes. And to the voters, the choice is yours. Which direction do you want your city to go? Who will be willing to listen and present your desires? Thank you all for listening to us.
I'm sorry, did I cut you off?
No, I got it in.
Okay, good. Ty, do you want to go?
Now?
We can hear you.
Hello? Okay. These are things that were unasked here tonight, but asked of me online or face-to-face. Why do I not door knock, send out postcards, and/or badmouth and complain on social media? Simple. Knocking on doors. COVID protection for you, me, my friends and family, and your friends and family. And as I said on Facebook 6 weeks ago, I live in the gray 110-year-old house across from Blake Park on South Lakeview Drive, the one that more often than not has the Christmas lights on between dark and 11 p.m. There's a no screened sitting area where it is ample room for social distancing. So come by, pick my brain with or without a mask. We can sit far enough apart to get it done. Postcards. Simply, I am quite introspective human being, and I will be fiscally conservative with your money as I am with my own. I am also one who does not miss an inordinate amount of meetings due to the fact that I have committed to too many business or family things which interfere with the business of being the city commissioner you may have elected me to represent. My job, if I am elected, is, if you will, stop, look, listen to those whom I will seek out for intelligent input. I have a great deal of respect for, both in alphabetical order, both Roger and Roxanne Reed Goodman, more so tonight. Therefore, if I am elected Zone 2 Commissioner, I will most definitely seek their insight, their input, and their interest in any issue which I believe to be realistically relevant. In a pre-election nutshell, it is what it is, will be what it will be. Vote for me, and we shall see. In the words of Muhammad Ali, I will float like a butterfly and sting like a bee for you, the residents of Lake Helen, the gem of Florida. Finally, the curtain comes down on this evening. Let me say, should I be your ultimate choice, I will proudly serve at least 17 years. I proudly served at 17 years old. I will proudly serve again at 77 years young. Would I like you to vote for me? Of course. Will I kiss butt or play political games to get your vote? Absolutely not. Good night, stay well, be good, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Ty. Roxanne,
Wow,
are you ready?
That's a tough speech to follow. But I want to thank the League for a Better Living for organizing this event and for putting all of the hard work that you did into making it successful, even with the few hiccups that we had. And then I want to thank each of the citizens of Lake Helen that are watching or that will watch it on recording for your time to listen to each of us. I want to thank Roger and Ty for providing the opportunity for respectful debate and discussion, for allowing open communication to happen, and for understanding that diversity of thought is extremely important as we move forward with this city. I decided to run for Zone 2 City Commission because I am extremely passionate about this city that I live in, the city of Lake Helen. However, while I'm running as an individual candidate, I fully understand that we must all work together for a better Lake Helen in order to preserve the community and the city's historic values. We can't do this unless we do it together, y'all. We have to work together. Let me leave you with some final thoughts. It is important that we ensure the quality of life in Lake Helen remains premium. That's why we all live here. That's why we all want to be here. That's why this election is so important. We must plan for small incremental business growth, and we must ensure that the city remains financially sound and resourceful. We must promote, we must plan, we must develop strategies to maintain unity among all citizens, regardless of income, regardless of race, regardless of their profession, regardless of their thoughts and their beliefs. We must work to unify the city. If elected, I promise to work towards seeking consensus among all of my fellow commissioners and the staff, city administration, and city administration to ensure that these things are accomplished. Again, I want to thank you all for allowing me to be part of this forum and to voice my opinions on the things that we can do or I would like to do for the city. So when Tuesday, August 18th comes, I ask that you remember me, Roxanne Reed Goodman. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Roxanne.
So I'm just going to one time just want to remind everyone of their candidates, okay? So we have Roxanne, who was just speaking, and we have Roger, and we have JT Ty. So thank you all so much, so much for participating. Really do appreciate it. I hope everyone had a good time and that everything was good. And I'm gonna call on Ty real quick. I have one last two lines to say.
Well, obviously, when I was reading what I had written, prepared notes, I wasn't prepared for everything that all of the other candidates said. I reiterate, I think that either of the other two choices, Roxanne and or Roger, would be wonderful additions to the commission. Obviously, I think that I would be the better commission. And the reason on this picture that's up there now is very simple. I proudly served at 17 years old, 101st Airborne, all the way. I will proudly serve you again at 77 years young. Thank you.
I'm sorry, my mic was muted. Does anybody else have anything else that they want to share before we close out? And I'm just going to unmute everyone and just make sure everyone is here. And
I love you. I love you
yes.
all.
Joy,
I
can
love
you hear me?
all, and I am proud to be a Lake citizen with everybody, even the other individual. Maybe we can all teach her how to be a human being.
Roger, would you like to say anything before we?
I know.
Well, Bart had his hand up, so I'll let him go.
Oh, okay. Bart has something to say.
Listen, as a former candidate for this election, in and out, I just got to say, I'm so proud and impressed to have such an intelligent, informed, and capable candidates here just for our little singular zone in our small, little, humble town. Honestly, I don't know why I get in this thing with people like you as my neighbors.
We love you too, Bart.
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted to say very quickly how impressed I am. These are not easy questions to answer so on the fly. They did not know what was coming, and I think you guys did far and away better than I could have imagined. You guys did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Yeah, it really does speak volumes. Those questions, like compared to last year, those questions were off the charts hard. So you guys are amazing, thinking on the fly, sharp individuals, and the league thanks you all for your participation. You're beautiful people, beautiful neighbors, and I'm so thankful to know each one of you, and to everyone watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us do something new, even if we were sort of forced to out of the circumstances. And I just wish everyone a good weekend. And I'm glad we did not have a lightning outage of internet services. Yay!
Bravo to Joy. Bravo,
Yes, Joy.
bravo,
Thank
Thank you, Joy.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Thanks, Joy.
It's
Yeah.
a pleasure.
and
I
Rob.
want to say, not least, like thank you to Rick and Joe who are at City Hall. They are providing the show for everyone there. So thank you, City Hall. Thank you to those folks that are there. I want to also say thank you to Jennifer, who's been IT teching on Facebook and assisting with things like helping people understand how to turn on the closed captioning and those things. So when there were audio things, she was able to kind of help people see that. And one more thing I should say, if anyone does want a copy of this, which I know I'm going to get a copy for the candidates, and
Please do.
we can download the MP4 file, put them on flash drive, disk, and get them to your friends and neighbors so you can share. And in post-production, we can increase boost some of the audio issues as well. So if anyone else is just interested in that, we can make that better.
On the flash drives, what can I edit out some of Roger's answers and some of
I love it. We'll all lose 10 pounds. That's what I want you to edit.
All right. All right, Ty, just for that, I'm going to bring over a bottle of whiskey instead of wine.
that hopefully tonight, not next week.
So, and now we close. So good night and
Good night. Thank you, Lake Helen.
everyone. Yes, thank you, Lake Helen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim, sir.